High-grade Universal Century Zogok. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs, GundamReviews.net. Happy today to be bringing you a look at this. It's old, it's new, it's retro, it's cool. It's all of them put together. The high-grade Universal Century UC being most appropriate, as it's the unicorn version of the old school, new school Zogok. September 2013 release. From Bandai, as you'd expect, and the price, if you can make it out down there, is 1,700 yen, and there's the name bar in English and Japanese with some fantastic cover art. Number 161, it's been a long wait. But you don't have to wait to buy this and lots more Gunpla and so much more from HobbyLink Japan, and there's links down below. So what have I been going on about here? New school, old school? If you take a look at this old packaging here, this is from Yodobashi Camera, but it's the 1/100th version of the Zogok, and this here, you'll just notice how old school and crazy looking this really is. And of course, fans back in the day were looking at this on the shelf saying, well, not at Yodobashi Camera probably, but what is this? So it never appeared in the anime, and it never did until recently. Universal Century and Gundam Unicorn, what an excuse to bring out every old school suit and make them new school, and so that's what we're getting here is a new version, the unicorn version of this classic old suit, famous or infamous, depending on how you look at it. For me, it's definitely a good one. To the holiest of books here, where it's sort of fun to go take a look at the blast from the past here. The original Gundam kits, you don't have to go very far. You don't have to go to MSVs, MSVRs, or any of the crazy MSVs that came after it. Because if you see all these very famous and familiar kits down here in 1/144th, you're right away gonna say, huh? What are these? And that's because even though they were never animated, they did come out later than most of the kits. They came out up to 81, some of them the Gelgoog 82, but you can see that these four came out in 1982. This one specifically in 1/144th was 400 yen at the time in November, and it also came out 1/100th, you can see all the big boys there, and there it is. Only 3 of these lesser guys, MSVs as they would occasionally come to be known, November 82, and it sold for a whopping back then 840, so you're paying twice as much now for something that is the smaller scale, but you know it's going to be a lot better quality than this one. And before we get to the new good stuff, well, here's just a quick look at this. These old kits take me a long, what's he doing in there? Take me a long time to do, as there's lots of taping, gluing, everything that we've come to get used to in terms of Iropla, the plastic colors being all there, snap fit, and life being easy. It was not there back in the day, so let's see what improvements this high grade is bringing us. Besides hopefully a few better poses than, yeah, these epic ones. So back to the present, where I just wanted to show you that contrast there. The old one looking blocky, crazy, and silly, and this new one actually looking like a realistic, well, as much as it can be, piece of warfare machinery here. Here's the back view with lots of weapons and a very detailed backpack. Of course, he's going to have his very cool Quickman boomerangs up there, 10 in total, and you can see that he's also got the stretched right arm there. Hopefully that's something that's going to carry through to both arms, and maybe even double. To the other side, where you get more actual poses here, absolutely fantastic, not just arms raised in the air, yippee-i-o, kaye style. Here you can see that the mono eye is going to be moving there. We'll have to see how exactly that's going to be working. Yes, the elbows move. They didn't back in the day. All sorts of moving parts down there for the limbs. You've got the arm punch neatly recreated, so you're going to have the Akai style. Stretch it out, 08MS team. You can see that you're going to have weapons strapped onto the back there. 2 different heat swords are going to be attached, one red, one gray. We'll have to see how that's actually going to play out. You can see that you're going to have the boomerang cutters be able to be detached one by one. That's quite exciting, and if you wanted to recreate some of these, what came to be known, the MSVs from Unicorn, even though they were animated, there they are, looking pretty sharp, and a gem looking not too happy about it. The new box we go, where you're going to be treated to, fantastic. Not too big of a sticker sheet there, some big red pieces, suitably, and nice coloring overall. Some dark colors, very Zeonic. There you can see individual boomerangs, that's looking awesome, and this is something I'm just going to be ecstatic about. The legs actually showing gray so you don't have to tape it and paint it off yourself. Some inner frame, if you want to call it that, and some extra weapon packs there in green and gray, and a whole plate of clear parts looking very cool, including that sword, not quite the red as promised. Here's the A-plate, and it's already been announced that we're going to be getting a reissue in different colors. Yes, Jaburo, How I Remember You from episode 0 nothing of the original first Gundam. Here you can see that things are going to be detachable, so they can actually swap on different weapons and do different color moldings as needed here. And the parts, of course, that are going to be standing out are the legs. They're going to have these little circles here. They've actually got the ability to line it, hopefully there. It doesn't seem to be too deep, the channels. But I think all eyes are going to go, no pun intended, to where the eye is going to be sitting, the mono eye to be exact. As this part here is looking pretty sharp, it's nicely cut out there with all sorts of cavities showing hopefully some decent machinery behind it. The B plate here has lots of ejectable parts, as you can see, including the old, we've never seen that in a Japanese anime, have we? The old extendo fist punch there. Two different sets of hands, as you're going to have your punching hands and your weapon holding hands, which is going to come in handy when you've got the sword in play. Here's the backpack looking like it could use some nice silver paint if you really wanted to bring it to life. A couple parts down there for this large sword looking pretty good, and otherwise the parts for the feet looking not quite as detailed as what I seem to remember on the bottom of the guy, but some nice stripes. Overall, good details carved into every plate so far, including this nice looking C plate there, the ability to add stuff on as needed for Jaburo. You can see some parts for the boosters, down for the legs again, and just the general limbs. But the things that I think are looking really sharp is you've got this nice set of piping over here. But the big one for me, yes, how much of that is going to be visible? Hopefully a lot of it behind that nice red piece you saw on the A plate, and it's going to be a clear part covering up the mono eye. This is looking really, really sharp, and the kind of thing you could only dream of back in 1982. The D plate, though, is the one that really hits home for me. Yes, they went individual there. They totally could have just gone with one piece, although that may have been actually tricky to mold. Or they could have done something like 4, where 1 is detachable, and you can just throw that while still keeping 4 on either side of his head. But instead, they went the whole shebang. You're going to be getting all 10 of them looking great. Yes, Quickman would like that. But here's the part that I'm most pleased about. First of all, I should mention that the B and C plates, we're getting 3 different colors here for these. But the best one is that if you saw those red parts from the A plate, they're actually going to be going on here and still revealing all the tops and the bottoms. So you're getting this gray striping all done for you. It's the kind of thing that Bandai has been lazy a little bit on some high grades recently, like the Nemo and a few others, the M1 Astray, where you're using big seals to cover things up. But with this one, the fact that they're going to the trouble of giving you this in a nice other color, and these other little parts, just some additional trim, and the boomerangs, they're all going to be standing out. You're getting a lot of colors in a 1/144th kit. So far, well worth the 1,700 yen and the increase over the 30-year-old kits. And if you weren't convinced before, maybe a stern Faust to a Jim's face might convince you here. Just 4 simple parts done up in this nice military-esque green there, and it looks like you're going to have to add a little bit of striping, possibly through seals, or you can just paint that up yourself. But it's still great that they're going to be throwing it in and definitely bringing it into the UC later time frame from the 1-year war. But I think it's this F plate right there. Look at that faceplate, looking fantastic, hopefully with the mono eye below, behind it. You can see these additional small details, but I think the big one is going to be that heat sword there. Anytime they give it to you in clear like this, of course, clear red, I'd like to be lazy and not even have to paint it. But if you've got the paint around from your 00 kits or anything else, it's the kind of thing, if you want to change the color and do whatever you want with it, this clear color lets you do that. Can't wait to see that eye coming out menacing, though. With a tiny C2 plate here being a quarter of that, and the polycaps from 2008, what are we getting? PC 132, and some classics here, so you're going to be getting a fair number of polycaps inside. But the same doesn't need to be said for the seals, because besides the famous mono eye there, you've just got a couple of black seals down there, and 4 in white. I thought it was just going to be 2, so probably 2 for the Fausts, and then 2 for the forearms, it looks like. The one thing that I'm not too crazy about is if you look, there's little perforations there all along the side, which means you're going to be putting it around over a rounded surface, so you may just want to go and paint it up 80s style. Nice looking manual for a nice looking MS, I've got to say. You can see the weapons, heat sword, boomerang cutters, arm punches, yes, left and right in the Sturmfaust there. 18 meters, and when you go inside, yes, check that out. Actual poses, as I've been fond of pointing out, the details of the eye and the arm punches, and even there from the back, it's the kind of thing you could have a couple of them on display. He's looking really sharp there with the Stormfausts, looking really good in hand, and of course, why not buy all of our UC playsets and toys? But first, you've got to put it together here. You can see the plates definitely looking detachable and reattachable there. And then you're going to be putting together the chest and head as all one unit, as you'd expect. The boomerang cutters are going to be placed in there individually. Cover it up. You can take it off and actually move the mono eye it's saying there. The piping and the backpack look interesting, though may need some paint details. For the arms themselves, there's that first seal. You're going to be putting a white one around the lower part of the forearm and actually a black one there on the inside. So you're not going to see too much of it, perhaps. We'll have to see just exactly how movable that is. But once you've got both sets of arms together, it's time to put together some Act-Guy-like legs there and the big feet. Before the color is going to bring it all home there in that gray on red. Just fantastic. Action baseable. Yes, couldn't do that before. And you are going to be putting another set of seals here, the other white ones, the skinny ones on. You can see that they're going to be attached in one on either side, and that's detachable. For the arm punches, you're getting 2 of them. Put it on either hand, it looks like. Here you can see you're only going to be getting 1 handle there. A little bit cheap. They could have given you a clear one, I suppose, and painted up however you like. But nonetheless, just the fact that you're having this many weapon options, and the fact that he can move to do them, big good start so far. Look at that, it's the kind of thing that only high-quality animation from UC could be providing for this former past sort of joke in some people's eyes anyway. And here for the UC colors, what's the main red going to be? Orange 50%, salmon, pink 45, and gray to top it off. But just the fact you're getting that many colors, 1/100th, definitely didn't do that. So in case it wasn't obvious, I'm really keen on everything that we've seen inside so far. Not a lot of seals, 2 different kinds of weapons for the heat swords. Tons of great options, and actually, if it sounds like I'm slagging off the old one was pretty good for its day. You just got to be putting in a lot more time than this one is going to be taking. So speaking of which, it's time to get to it. Don't forget to stick around to see the parts and this MS all put together 30 years late. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.